Hello everyone. In the previous class we have discussed about the conductivity and mobility. So we are going to continue from there onwards. Mobility of holes. For any particle, a general definition of mobility is the ratio of drift velocity to the electric field. So for any particle, a general definition. So this is a general definition of a mobility, which states that the ratio of a drift velocity to the electric field. So it's going to inversely proportional to the effective mass. So in the previous class we have discussed effective mass. So this mobility, general mobility, is going to be inversely proportional to the effective mass m asterisk. So its unit is m square per volt second. Now the mobility of holes. The ability of a hole to move in the presence of applied electric field is called as the hole mobility or mobility of holes. The ability of a hole to move in the presence of applied electric field is called hole mobility. So it is given by mu p is equal to Vp by epsilon, where mu p is the mobility of holes and Vp is drift velocity of holes and epsilon is the electric field. Since the effective mass of the hole is greater than that of electrons, remember here the mass of holes is greater than that of electrons. That's why the holes have a lower mobility as compared to the electrons. So electrons have a higher mobility than the holes because the mass of the holes is greater than the mass of the electrons. Next, mobility of electron. So similarly, mobility of holes, so the mobility of electron is the ability of a electron to move in the presence of a applied electric field is called as mobility of electron. So it is denoted as mu n, that is mobility of electron. So mu n is equal to minus Vx by epsilon x, where mu n is the electron mobility, Vx is the drift velocity of a electron, and epsilon is the applied electric field. So the unit of this mobility is centimeter per second by volt per centimeter. So in short, it is centimeter square per volt second. So the minus sign here in the equation states that in the definition result in a positive value of a mobility since electron drift opposite to the field. So the current density can be expressed in terms of mobility. The current density can be written in terms of mobility as Jx equal to q n mu n into epsilon. If both electrons and holes participate, we must modify this equation, above equation, as Jx equal to q into n mu n plus p mu p into epsilon x. So that can be written as sigma into epsilon x. So the value of mu n and mu p are given for many of common semiconductor materials. Next topic, drift resistance. So the figure shows drift of a electron and holes in a semiconductor bar. A semiconductor bar is taken and how when the electric field is applied, the drift of electron and the drift of holes in that particular semiconductor bar is shown. So if the semiconductor bar of the above figure contains both the type of carriers, that is both the carriers means electrons and holes, the conductivity of a material is going to be expressed as we have discussed in the previous equation, that is Jx equal to Q into N mu N plus P mu P into epsilon x. Here both electron and hole mobility is available. So the resistance of the bar is then can be written as R equal to rho L by Wt, where rho is the resistivity, its unit is ohm centimeter. So rho L by Wt is equal to, it can be written as L by Wt into 1 upon sigma. So the physical mechanism of carrier drift requires that the holes in the bar move as a group in the direction of the electric field, and that electrons move as a group in the opposite direction. So both the electrons and hole components of current are in the direction of the field. Since conventional current is positive in the direction of the hole flow and opposite to the direction of a electron flow. So the drift current is constant throughout the bar. So with reference to this figure, so whatever the figure that is shown, for every electron leaving the left end, x equal to 0. See the figure, observe the figure carefully. The x is shown and the 0 is shown. So for every electron that is leaving the left side end, where x equal to 0 is shown in the bar, there is a corresponding electron entering at x equal to L, so that the electron concentration in the bar remains constant at N. But as a hole reaches the ohmic contact at x equal to L, it recombines with an electron. So here it is going to be supplied through the external circuit. So as this hole disappears, a corresponding hole must appear at x equal to 0 to maintain space charge neutrality. So it is reasonable to consider the source of this hole as the generation of an EHP, that is electron hole pair at x equal to 0, with the hole flowing into the bar and the electron flowing into the external circuit. Next topic, effects of temperature on doping. Effects of temperature and doping on mobility. In a semiconductor, both mobility and carrier concentration are temperature dependent. So there are two basic types of scattering mechanisms that influence the mobility of electrons and holes. So the first one is the lattice scattering and the second one is the impurity scattering. So this figure shows the approximate temperature dependence of mobility with both lattice and impurity scattering. So this is a graph where x-axis is temperature in Kelvin, it is a log scale, and y-axis is a carrier mobility, that is mu, whether it is a electron or hole, it is also a log scale and the unit is centimeter square per volts second. So first let us discuss the each type, lattice scattering and impurity scattering. So lattice scattering, in the lattice scattering, a carrier moving through the crystal is scattered by vibration of the lattice. In lattice scattering, a carrier moving through the crystal is scattered by a vibration of the lattice, which is going to be resulting from the temperature. So the frequency of such scattering events increases as the temperature increases. So since the thermal agitation of the lattice increases, hence mobility decreases as temperature increases. So remember here, in the lattice scattering, mobility is going to decreases as the temperature increases. So this is the important in intrinsic semiconductor. Second one, impurity scattering. So the phenomenon is important for doped semiconductor. So the lattice scattering is for intrinsic semiconductor, whereas impurity scattering is for the doped semiconductors. So impurity scattering is caused by crystal defects such as ionized impurities. At lower temperatures, carriers move more slowly. So at the lower temperatures, when the temperature is very low, the carriers are going to move very slowly. So there is more time for them to interact with charged impurities. As a result, as the temperature decreases, impurity scattering increases and mobility decreases. So this is just opposite of the effect of lattice scattering. So in the lattice scattering, mobility decreases as temperature increases, whereas here temperature decreases, scattering increases, impurity scattering increases and mobility decreases. Thus, with the increase in temperature, what happens is, for the lattice scattering increases and mobility decreases, whereas impurity scattering decreases and mobility increases with the increase in temperature. With increase in doping levels, the mobility decreases since the impurity scattering increases. As shown in this figure, already we have seen this figure. As shown in this figure, the approximate temperature dependencies are T raised to minus 3 by 2 for lattice scattering and T raised to 3 by 2 for impurity scattering. Since the scattering probability is inversely proportional to mean free time, and therefore to mobility, the mobilities due to the two or more scattering mechanisms are add inversely. So that's why 1 upon mu is equal to 1 upon mu 1 plus 1 upon mu 2 plus so on. So 1 upon mu, that is the mobility due to two or more scattering mechanisms add inversely. That's why equation wise 1 upon mu equal to 1 upon mu 1 plus 1 upon mu 2 and so on. As a result, the mechanism causing the lowest mobility value dominates as shown in the figure. Thank you for watching the video.